Today I'm taking you with me on another project that I recently did, which is preserving flowers. It all started, as my projects usually do, with a friend asking me, "Hey, have you ever tried preserving flowers? Maybe do you want to try it?" Point my friend failed to mention that I'm going to be preserving her wedding bouquet. Of course, I said yes. Before thinking of any consequences that might happen. It's kind of a stressful task that I embarked on. I decided I'm going to try it with some store-bought flowers because I might mess it up, and it's better to mess it up on on store-bought flowers than a real wedding bouquet because the stakes are just too high. I did try a method of pressing the flowers and also air drying the flowers, and it turned out pretty great. So I was quite confident into my decision of preserving the said bouquet. I didn't have to catch it. I was just handed over the wedding bouquet, and no one told me that those bouquets were so heavy. The wedding bouquet was packed with flowers. I was shocked. The first step of actually preserving the flowers is taking the wedding bouquet apart. I did organize all the flowers based on the flower type so I could have more flexibility when actually arranging the set preserved flower frame. And apparently, this was a good idea because dried flowers are very fragile. They really break easily, so it was a good thing that I decided to break it apart before actually drying them out. When it comes to drying, I tried three different techniques, which is the first one was air drying, the second one was pressing the flowers with a machine, and the third one, which I was most confident in, was using the silica gel for drying out the flowers. For the pressing of the flowers, I used some kind of a press that I used to make notepads, which my dad made, and it came out handy. Because I could just place the flowers in the middle and then just press it with very high pressure using the bolts on the top. For the air drying part, I just tied the flowers together, hang them upside down on in my apartment, and then sprayed them with some hairspray. This is a method that my mom have used on her wedding bouquet, and it's a tradition here to just preserve flowers using hairspray, so that's what I did. And then the third method was using the silica gel. I ordered one from Amazon. The idea was to just cover all the petals, flowers with the silica gel. I used three different methods just because I wasn't sure which one is going to work the best. I didn't try them all on store-bought flowers, so I just wanted to be sure that it's gonna turn out nicely. Fast forward a few weeks, and I got a final result. The results were very mixed. First of all, the pressing method didn't work at all. Flowers got smushed and moldy, even though I used paper towels to kind of contain the moisture. So I don't know what happened here, and I just threw them out because it looked like a failed science experiment. Then we have the silica gel, which turned out okay, but the air drying method kind of worked the best. It kind of preserved all the definition and all the colors of the flowers, while the silica gel did get a bit brownish on the petals of the roses. So, since there were different flowers, the pressing of some smaller flowers did work, so I used those, and I had a range of flowers to go ahead and arrange. And then came another problem, which is actually finding a frame that would fit the flowers. Since I have the flat roses anymore, or flowers, I had to find a deep enough frame that would actually fit the 3D flowers that I air dried, that I preserved. And this turned out to be an unnecessary challenge. All the frames are actually not deep enough. They kind of fake the depth of the frame by having another section on it, or it's just, it's not 5 centimeters, but it's only 3, but it looks like 5 centimeters. I went to my favorite trip to IKEA and found a frame that works. It's a shadow frame. Problem with the IKEA frame is that the backing is brown. So this means that I had to kind of transform the brown backing to the white one, just because I felt like the aesthetic of the brown background is not there. So what I took is I took a white vinyl that I use for stickers and everything, and just tape it to the backing, and that kind of turned out nicely. But then the stressful part begins. I had to arrange the flower bouquet to kind of resemble what she had on her wedding day. but also to look beautiful, to look kind of aesthetic. So I'm not just throwing all the flowers together. So that took a bit of time. I was assembling flowers for around 2 hours before I was kind of happy with the result. Mostly because I wasn't sure of my decision, because I was kind of stressed because it's an actual wedding bouquet. It's not just some random bouquet of flowers that I was preserving. When I was happy with the result, I decided to sleep it off and continue the next day. Because after that, even a harder part started. And it's actually gluing all the flowers together. Sounds easy enough, but at this point, when you're using a hot glue gun, basically it's done. You cannot change the layout anymore. This means that I had to be sure of my decision of placing the flowers where they belong. And also, if you ever worked with a hot glue gun, you probably know all the little strands that are happening once you glue things down. So that was a challenge that I did have to overcome. But despite all the chaos, I think it's turned out pretty nice. My friend loved it. Guess I did a good job. Hopefully, this piece will remind her of a magical day that happened to her in her life, just getting married. And I'm really excited that I was given this opportunity to actually preserve something as important as the flower bouquet. So this was kind of my journey of the whole flower bouquet shenanigans. I was quite surprised that the simplest method worked the best, which is air drying the flowers and using hairspray. But you might get some different results than me, so go ahead and try it. And that is all. Thank you for joining me on another project of mine. I had fun. Hopefully, you had too. And I hope I'll see you again some other time. Let's try another project for the first time. And that is all. Until next time, stay curious.